G'day folks, how you going? We thought we'd do a quick update and review on what we've been up to over the Christmas period. Leading up to the Christmas period, we've basically, we're running a tub and a ARB canopy, ARB roof rack, and trying to work out of that with the boat sitting on the top. Long story short, it was unworkable. It wasn't easy to grab stuff in and out of it, so we'll put some pictures of what it used to look like in, and now we've bitten the bullet. While we're working on the cane farm, we earn a bit of coin, so we thought, well, what are we going to do here? Do we need a new car? We want to upsize the caravan, which would be fantastic in a perfect world, or do we just put a canopy on and gain a little bit of usable space, I suppose, and make life a little bit easier? So the latter come to fruition. We did a bit of research. We hit up 3 different companies, went and had a look when we got into Brisbane. AAA canopies, EZ, MW, obviously all the Chinese manufacturers. We don't have $30,000 or $40,000 to throw at a canopy from an Australian builder, so we worked with our budget and we chose EZ toolboxes in the end. They just had some slightly different features that we thought were a little bit better than the rest. So we bit the bullet, we signed on the dotted line, and we committed ourselves to an install, which is a hard thing to do on the road when you don't have a fixed address, you don't have too many power tools or anything like that, but still, nevertheless, we gave ourselves a 1-week window to remove the old tub, remove the canopy and the roof rack off the top. Sold that the day we took it off. People come and picked it up, sold that, which was awesome. Made our life really easy. Good friends of ours lent us their industrial workspace and a forklift to get all that done. We stripped down the old canopy, including the whole power system and whatnot, and stripped it down and drove it into EZ for the changeover, which we gave them a timeline. We wanted it done in 3 days. We can't go without a vehicle for more than that, so that's what we did. Moving on, we've had the canopy installed, and we've been back on the road now for at least coming up 3 weeks, a little longer. So we've given it a bit of a test run, dusty conditions, dirt roads, a bit of off-road stuff. And we're currently camped up on the Goulburn River in Victoria. We thought we'd give you a look at what we've done and how we've done it, and we'll let you know how much everything costs. So we'll start at the back of the tub. First things first, the old boat loader that I built fitted perfectly. We made it to fit an ARB roof rack. Turns out it fitted perfectly. A few bolts in the top there, bolted straight onto the roof rack, the EZ toolbox roof rack, which we opted for, just so we've got warranty with the weight on top of the canopy. That's as solid as a rock. That, can't recommend them highly enough. So, and they come with the channel as well, so if you want to bolt stuff down using the channel nuts and bolts, you can do that as well. Really happy with the way that works, and we'll give you a look at that, just hoiking the boat up in a minute. So it's just starting at this end here. Obviously everything, the only options that we got on it really was the trundle drawer and a roof rack, and I think that was about it. So anyway, we got central locking as well, which everyone says is a must, and it's really good. First things first, when we got the canopy, drove it back in, lined it with a product from Bunnings called Meadowline. I think that's how you say it, or Meadowline. We bought a 30-metre roll by 1500. It was about 95 bucks. And then we went on the hunt for a decent adhesive spray, which we found a 3M product. Believe it or not, we bought it from Sydney Tools. It was the cheapest. And it has a decent temp rating as well, so it won't unstick itself. We watched a fair bit of YouTube trying to see what other people have been doing. We thought this would be the best sort of product and the easiest to install. It wasn't easy to do these doors, especially when you got the adhesive on both sides and it wants to stick to each other, and nevertheless we got the job done, and highly recommend doing this before you start any canopy build. It would be a pig of a job to do when you've already built your canopy up. So yeah, do that, and it makes a massive difference. We have got no ventilation at the moment, but I'll run you through what the plan is with ventilation. Second thing I started on was the power system. So I reused as much stuff as I could, hardware and whatnot, battery from the old build, and then went about building another board to suit our needs. So that's all there, using an EnerDrive DC to DC 40 amp charger, all the light loads, heavy loads, and a hardcore 135 amp hour battery, which I can't recommend enough. They come with Bluetooth, no need for shunts or anything. You can see exactly what's going in and what's coming out. So that's the power system in it. I've wired it up so that you've got 3 ins and outs, basically a DC in, solar in, and a DC out. And that's trying to keep things as simplistic as possible in case we ever have to pull the canopy off for some reason. It's just a matter of plug and play sort of thing. So from the DC out, we've got plugged straight into the winch that pulls the boat up, and at the moment we've got a hard mounted 160 watt solar panel there, and that plugs in and feeds solar through to the EnerDrive DC-DC. So we're copping a bit of solar and keeping it all topped up. And it works really well. We're pretty pleased with that. We've got hardwired air compressor, hardwired water pump, obviously fridge, outlets to run. We run our caravan battery when we're traveling off this battery, not from the driving battery of the car, so we don't have any issues with flat batteries and whatnot. Any of the products that I needed, I got online probably about 3 weeks before. I did a bit of a plan on how I was going to wire this up. Got online to Off-Road Living. They seem to have the better strip lights where they've got built-in switches. You've got a white light, red light, or you can have them both at the same time if you want. They are brilliant. They're 900 long, and they are just double-sided taped on with the tape that comes on the light when you get it. You can screw them in. We haven't opted to do that yet. We just want to see how long that's going to last, if it's going to last, and it's solid as a rock, so we're pretty happy with them. They're a good little thing, those lights. We put 2 on, 1 on each door, and it seems to light the area up really well. Moving on from that, yeah, we reused what we could out of the old setup just to save some coins. So basically took you through the power system. Now the fridge, we opted for a new fridge slide and cage, an MSA fridge cage. We picked these up off Marketplace, and I think we got them for about $300 for both of them, or something. It was 250 or something like that.
150 for the both.
Oh, it was 150.
Yeah.
We picked these up for $150, believe it or not, for both of them from a bloke just outside of Brisbane, which we thought was an absolute bargain considering regular retail prices around the $400 each mark. So for each one of them, so we were winning there, $150. So that worked out excellent. They're all screwed down on the channel with channel nuts, so there's no drilling into the base at all. By the way, this is a chassis mount. It's not a tray and it's not a canopy, it's a chassis mount just to save on a little bit of weight. So moving on, we opted for a brand new overhead shelf, which we keep all the bits and pieces like that, all in tactic boxes. Flippers up here. So this here is from Global Industries. I think it was about $190, and that is a great little investment, that thing there. The room that it opens up, it goes back about 600, I believe. But yeah, the overhead room that you can utilise is fantastic with that. So we reused the old water tank. As you can see, it's got the cutouts there for a well body, but that didn't faze us. That's 40 litres, and we don't always have it full. We really only half fill it just for a bit of water on the road for washing your hands, or a bit of drinking water for the dog or something like that. When we do go a little bit more remote, or we plan on free camping for a while, we'll fill this up and the bladder and transfer into the caravan. So we don't like to travel with all the waters full. Keeps the weight down and whatnot. So as you can see, yeah, everything we had sort of got reused. The beauty of these cages is you can hang stuff off them and keep stuff fairly orderly. The boat motor, that's the tail end, slides under there nicely. It's on a bit of a homemade slide there. We haven't come around to finding anything that will fit and work at the moment with this Canopy, so we'll just run with the old system and deal with it. Moving on. Gull-wing box. In this box here, all we've done is put our recovery gear and spare double pluggers for when you have a blowout. Everyone needs some of them. All right, so one of the issues we have had since we've been using it for the last 3 weeks, there's the original fuel tank fill point. They put this little cover in like that. Problem number one is that you don't have a lockable fuel cap anymore, so we'll have to purchase one of them. That's easy to get around. The other issue was that when you fill, they don't put it high enough. It needs to come up probably at least another 20 mil, so you've got downward flow. So when you get into the end of your tank, to when it's full, you get backflow and it comes out. You have to be very cautious of that. So that's another issue with these here. Maybe they could move the bolts, or I can move the bolts there. The mounting bolts up another 10 mil and might make a difference, but that's a slight issue. Another issue we had with it when we opened it up and we started working on it and whatnot, all the locking mechanism was exposed, and we thought that's not right. Actually, Kylie pulled me up and she said, we're missing the covers off here. They said it had covers, and yeah, they did. They forgot to put them on. So I rang them and said, you guys forgot to put these covers on. He did try to tell me that it doesn't come with them, and I did try and tell him that yes, it does, because he told me it did. And long story short, we got them to courier them over to the yard because they were on the other side of Brisbane, and it was going to cost us a fortune to get in the car, run tolls and get back. Would be half a day's drive and probably about 20 bucks worth of tolls. So I made them get it to us in a courier, which they did, much to their credit. All right, moving over to this side of the Canopy, this is where we opted to hard mount our existing Bushman air compressor. That air compressor's been going, I got that for my 18th birthday. I'm now 48, so do the maths. That is, I totally back and recommend Bushman gear. I reckon it's unreal. So I've just reused it in this rig, hard mounted it, bolted it down, and we've just got an extendable airline there that can reach the caravan tyres and all the tyres around the setup without having to unhitch or anything like that. Works wicked. Around the back side of the toolbox, up in here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there's a water pump mounted to the back of it. Now that water pump's also wired in, and at the flick of a switch, that water then is sucked from that tank through the floor, along through the chassis rail of the car, out through a heat exchanger that's always been in this car. We've always had a heat exchanger there for hot showers when we go camping on beaches or whatever. But it also doubles as a water transfer pump, so I can connect in to 120 litre water bladder that sits in the back there on the floor. I just connect that up to this inlet slash outlet. That's where we wash our hands, but it also will suck the water from the water bladder up through the pump and then transfer into the caravan, which is massive help. Very easy to transfer water, and we can transfer either the 120 or switch over and transfer the 40 litre. The slide, it's an old Waco fridge slide we've converted to a outboard slide. It works, it's okay. There's still manual handling involved, but we just make it work for now until we find something a little bit better. Tackle box is in here. The 200 watt solar panel sits on top of the fridge cage. That's the back of the fridge cage there, sits on top of that nicely. I made up a fishing rod holder there, utilising stuff out of the old rig. And that's pretty simple, but they sit up there nicely and don't seem to get damaged. This here, the jewel of the crown, second-hand toolbox Kylie sprayed up. It was raw aluminium. We picked this up for 250 bucks off Marketplace. These things are extremely expensive to buy for what they are. So 250 bucks was probably the best we could do on the time frame that we had. holds a hell of a lot of stuff. Plus you got the storage up the top. Yeah, it's a good thing. Canopy air vent. We picked this up from a company called Rogue Canopies. They're based in Dubbo. We drove through Dubbo, so I made a point of calling in, going in there, speaking with them, working out what was probably best for our needs within our budget. That there is about 250 bucks or something like that. So it works. It's got filtration there. It's like an old lawnmower filter that you can buy from Bunnings. That sits on the inside, this sits on the outside. Air flows through out the back and causes a suction motion while you're driving. It also has passive airflow, so while you're parked up, hot air is allowed to vent out the top. Yet to install and yet to see whether that's going to be sufficient enough. The Canopy doesn't get too hot as it is with the insulation in it. We've just been through a heat wave in New South Wales. Temperatures above 40 degrees over 9 days, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was hot, but you could really tell that this insulation works well. So the Canopy vent will be installed when I can get my hands on an angle grinder, and I'll put that in above the fridge and see how that goes, and we'll just monitor it, whether we have to put other vents in the back just to help that airflow. We'll yet to see. In the back there, just shoved down the side, is our spare oils, greases, spray cans, all that sort of stuff is up against the headboard. Underneath we've got storage here. All the books came out of the cab, which I'm pretty happy about because they were just cluttering it up. So any books we've got, travel books, maps and stuff, they go under there, which freed up a bit of space in the cab of the car and just declutters it, I suppose. Other than that, that's it for this side. Okay, so moving to the back of the Canopy and the boat loader. So we'll just give you a quick demo. We might speed it up, let it take a bit, but up she goes. Sort of hands-free, you don't just have to guide it as it goes up. Slow it down as it comes down, and just let the winch do the work, and from there you just slide it on. It's as simple as that. This doubles up here, we knock that up, and that the V of the engine goes in that, which straps down so it's all nice and firm, and then the tow hitch goes back in and away you go. This here was an optional extra when we bought the Canopy. We opted for the longest one we could fit in, a 1600 long Canopy, which is 1400. The trundle drawer, they're a good thing. They're not bad. They got a fair bit of space, and that goes right back. So anything we don't want to get to in a big hurry, mostly the spare parts for the car and whatnot are all stashed behind there. Some tools and other bits and pieces, but yeah, good thing. Only downfall with these, we were told and we assumed they were going to be dust proof. They're not. As you can see, the dust on the top, and then under further investigation you got a dust seal all the way around here, which is great, but you got a dirty big step there, and then that's all gap, so there's nothing to seal against. It's all opened air there. So that's a bit of a flaw with their design. We're just going to have to suck it up. It's what you get for Chinese built stuff, I suppose. Everything's not perfect, but you just have to make do.
Controversial.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Controversial.
Controversial. Yeah, but anyway, you just sort of make do with what you can afford and what you got, and live with it. The only thing we can do to mitigate against dust getting in is put a real thin dust seal. I should have picked some up at Bunnings, but a real thin layer of foam on here, and then that will compress against that. That will make everything inside dust proof. So I think we'll go ahead and do that whenever I remember to get the seal.
Just make sure you put that hitch pin in properly, alright?
Yeah, put the hitch pin in properly. Yeah. Bloody hell, people won't let you know about that. So yeah, all the OEM reverse sensors have been put in there, and reverse camera. Another thing with the reverse camera, it actually sits lower than what it does when it's in the tub. It sits up about here, which is fantastic. It gives you a total view of what your tow hitch when you're backing onto the caravan. It was perfect. Now it sits behind here, can't see it at all. I don't know how we're going to get around that without moving that all the way to up the top here. So that's for a rainy day, that. Whether we go ahead and sort of bite the bullet and do that, you just have to extend the wiring and bring it up here. So you've got a better view over the top of your hitch. But other than that, yeah, the whole thing's done, and so far so good. Finishing up, that's the canopy. That's what we've been up to over the last month, is installing that. It's made our life a hell of a lot easier. We're pretty happy with it. So basically, once we've sold up and we purchased everything we wanted to purchase, and that cost us about 10.5 grand, the whole canopy, including the electrics, because we had most of the stuff. It's not a Rolls Royce by any means. They come a lot better than this. It's a Rolls Royce to us on our budget. So we thought we'd just make this little video for you to show you what can be done for that sort of money. And will we do it again? 100%. We should have probably done it before we left Perth a year ago. We just were in a mad rush, just trying to save every dollar we could, and we thought we could make it work, which we did with what we had. But as you sort of live and learn a bit, and life on the road, some things you just sort of don't want to compromise on anymore. So we bit the bullet and we bought the EZ Canopy, which we would do again, and we'd probably use the company again. You just have to keep on to them about your time frames, what you want, and going in there knowing what you want and what you're looking for probably helps as well. So I hope you found this informative. If you've got any questions, flick them through to us, and like and subscribe. Really helps us along, guys. Thanks again. We'll catch you in the next video.